Man, it's insane how the Browns keep finding ways to shoot themselves in the foot. They had pure gold with Shedeur Sanders, the guy who single-handedly turned a meaningless preseason game into one of the most watched events of the decade, and still decided to bench him. Like, who in their right mind swaps out the only reason fans grabbed the remote to watch for? Dillon, Gabriel. That's like trading a Drake concert for karaoke night at the local dive bar. Ratings tanked just as fast as the fans' morale, and the funniest part is everyone saw this coming, except the Browns front office. Shedeur's impact is so wild that even people who don't care about the NFL started paying attention. The dude is a ratings magnet, pulling in everyone from the casual fan who only watches the Super Bowl to younger folks who'd rather scroll TikTok than sit through a 3-hour game. When he made his debut, the broadcast hit numbers nobody expected. Now, without him on the field, stadiums feel like empty libraries and TVs are tuned to literally anything else. This isn't just about talent, it's about relevance. Shedeur doesn't just play ball, he sells the show, he builds the narrative. And the Browns thought they could just stash that on the bench. The craziest part is how the Browns front office acts like they live in some alternate reality. They actually believed fans would get hyped to watch Dillon Gabriel running the offense. Dillon Gabriel. Look, the guy might be hardworking, but nobody cares. It's like your favorite band swapping their lead singer for someone who only sings in the shower. Nobody asked for that. Meanwhile, Shedeur is the type of player who packs stadiums even for away games. He's the reason fans buy tickets, jerseys, and even TV packages just to watch the Browns. Benching him wasn't just a bad call, it was straight-up commercial suicide. And the numbers don't lie. When Shedeur played, over 2.2 million people tuned in to watch a simple preseason game. That was the biggest preseason audience the NFL had seen in a decade. But the second they announced he wasn't going to play, ratings dropped faster than hotel Wi-Fi. It was like fans collectively sent a message, no Shedeur, no reason to watch. The NFL needs this guy. He's the spark that turns an ordinary matchup into a national event. But the Browns, being the Browns, chose to lose money and fans instead of giving their star the spotlight he deserves. And the irony was on full display in the stadium. More than 70,000 fans showed up for that Panthers game, and let's be real, nobody rolled out of bed on a preseason night to watch backups and aging vets fighting for roster spots. They were there for one reason, to see Shedeur Sanders put on a show. It felt like a concert where he was the headliner. But once it became clear he wasn't taking the field, the energy flatlined, the crowd deflated, and everyone felt duped. It was like paying for front row seats to Beyoncé only to find out the main act is a bar band cover singer. The funniest part is watching the Browns front office act clueless about why the ratings tanked. They sit in meetings with charts, spreadsheets, and fan engagement reports, like the answer isn't staring them in the face. People don't care about the Browns, they care about Shedeur. It's that simple. This franchise has been the punchline of the league for decades, and now that they finally have a guy who makes them relevant, they'd rather keep him holding a clipboard. It's like winning the lottery and losing the ticket the same day. Meanwhile, the fans already know the truth. Without Shedeur, there's no show. And this isn't just about football skills, it's about culture. Shedeur's got that it factor you can't coach, charisma, presence, and the ability to turn every play into a viral highlight. He's the kind of player who makes even people who can't tell a touchdown from a field goal stop and watch. He drives conversation, fills social media feeds, and puts the Browns' name in every sports debate. Without him, the team goes right back to being, well, the same old Browns. A gray, forgettable roster that only makes headlines when they screw up. And then comes the most ridiculous part, the whole injury excuse. Everyone knows it's bogus, just a cover-up to justify keeping him on the bench. Like, come on, the guy plays lights out, boosts ratings, and suddenly he's too hurt to suit up? Please. If it were serious, every outlet would be blasting the news, but instead it's radio silence and awkward answers. Feels more like they're scared of him shining too bright and making the vets and coaching staff look small. Meanwhile, the Browns' offense without him looked like a high school scrimmage, boring, predictable, and lifeless. The fans, of course, weren't having it. Social media turned into a war zone the second they realized Shedeur wasn't playing. Hashtags demanding he start blew up on Twitter, or X, or whatever Elon's calling it this week, and clips of fans ripping tickets and burning jerseys started spreading like wildfire. The vibe was pure betrayal. People had dropped serious cash just to see the kid on the field, only to find out he'd be holding a clipboard on the sideline. It's like showing up to a concert for the main act and finding out he never even left the green room. Fans felt played, and honestly, they had every right to. And it wasn't just the fans who felt burned, the sponsors did too. Imagine spending millions on commercials during that game, banking on record viewership, only to find out more people were watching late-night golf reruns than a Browns game without Shedeur. Total disaster. The NFL itself started sweating, because the league had already been pushing Shedeur as one of its next big stars. He's young, he's flashy, he's got the Sanders name, and he sells. Without him, the product feels flat, like trying to hype up a stale soda. The financial hit was massive, and everyone from advertisers to the league office knew it. And you can bet other NFL teams are just waiting for Cleveland to slip up. Every GM in the league knows that if Shedeur stays buried on the depth chart, the line to snatch him away will stretch longer than a Black Friday checkout line at Best Buy. Rival franchises would love to make him the centerpiece of their future, not just as a quarterback, but as a brand. He's the type of guy you build an entire culture around. Meanwhile, Cleveland's letting him rot on the bench like they've got talent to spare. It's only a matter of time before someone smarter makes a move. What the Browns don't seem to realize is that this decision goes way beyond just who lines up at quarterback. It's shaping the very identity of the team. For decades, Cleveland has been known as a factory of failure, and now they finally have a chance to rewrite that story with Shedeur. Instead, they're sticking to the same tired playbook of bad choices. This was their shot to be relevant in primetime, and they chose to stay a punchline. It's like they're afraid of winning, afraid of changing their own legacy. For a franchise already cursed with disappointment, this feels like doubling down on the misery. Shedeur isn't just a promising quarterback, he's a cultural phenomenon. The kid brings way more than football to the table. Style, swagger, and that magnetic presence that makes every snap feel like must-see TV. He bridges generations, pulling teenagers off TikTok and even getting casual fans who've never cared about football to tune in. It's rare to see a player with that kind of reach this early in his career. The NFL is always hunting for the next face of the league, and Shedeur already fits the bill, even without being a starter. He turns a random game into a pop culture event, and that's something you can't put a price tag on. And that's exactly why this whole Brown situation looks so ridiculous. They've got the one guy who could completely flip the script for their franchise, but they keep rolling with bland, forgettable options that only reinforce their losing reputation. Every game Shedeur spends on the bench is another self-inflicted wound. Fewer tickets sold, lower TV ratings, less relevance. Meanwhile, fans are staring at the clock, wondering how long it'll take before he's either traded or the team finally wakes up. The Shedeur effect isn't some short-term hype, it's the kind of opportunity that can change the future. But right now, Cleveland seems dead set on blowing it. At the end of the day, the truth is simple. The Browns need Shedeur more than Shedeur needs the Browns. He's already proven to be a magnet for attention, money, and hope, while the franchise keeps stumbling around in its own mediocrity. If Cleveland doesn't wake up soon, they're going to hand the NFL's next superstar to a smarter team on a silver platter, and when that happens, no one's going to feel sorry for them. Because when Shedeur lights it up in another uniform, everyone will remember that the Browns had the chance to change their story, and blew it. Just like they always do.
I've been chasing these dreams.